Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Back to Backlog podcast with myself, Lindsay, and
Sam?
insert the music. All right, so I know it's been a little while since we've been here. It's been kind of a a long couple of months.
Yep.
Um,
The
this is
spooky part 2 has haunted us, and it turned into a ghost, and we may find it next year.
yeah. I had COVID in January, not January, in October. So my boyfriend and I were collectively sick for the entire month. We took turns who was sick, so at least we weren't sick at the same time. But yes, I just did not have it in me to play those spooky games.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you needed something a little more uplifting. Whatever you
I
could...
couldn't do anything when I was sick. I played like 2 games and that was it, and then just didn't move.
Yeah, that's fair. That's super fair. Yeah, I was also somewhat swamped and didn't end up playing anything for weeks just because of work. But I don't know, we got back on track and I got to play some new stuff. So listeners, this is our Wildcard episode. We're just going to talk about whatever the heck we wanna.
Yep.
So I mean, these are mostly the games you've been playing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all the things I've been playing for the past, like, I would say, month.
Yep.
Jokes on me, I still didn't get to Doom Eternal.
I cannot believe.
I know.
I love
it. There's a reason. Then I'll get to that.
Yep.
I was playing in a different game.
That's fair. Yeah, I somehow managed to sneak all of these games. A good bunch of them I played for the in between playing more Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then like Sonic Frontiers came out and was actually pretty decent. And I'm like almost done. I've been having a blast with that.
I probably could have gotten through more, but because I play Apex Legends and the Battle Pass was ending, and there was like a solid 2 weeks I just didn't play because I was too sick. So I mean I didn't finish the Battle Pass because I didn't get to it. But so I spent the last like week of October just really trying to grind that. And in grinding that, I fell behind, not really behind,
sure,
the Fortnite Battle Pass. So I've just been trying to catch it just because there was, so many weeks I just didn't play. And then I haven't been playing either this week because of a different game. So yeah.
Well, I guess I'll start us off with our wildcard games here because I got a pair here that were very similar. And when I was playing, and I knew it was kind of a clone of the other one, so I figured I'd check out the other one as well. And I guess I'll start with the one everyone probably knows at this point, Vampire Survivors. So it's this new this new genre of game. It's been super popular with people who own the Steam Deck, that I've seen online at least. And it's just this Castlevania GBA looking themed game. But the real crux of it is like you walk around and you've got a bunch of weapons that sort of are on an automatic timer with some random chance going on. And it's just like horde crowd control is what you're trying to like just sneak past and weave your way through. It kind of has that feeling of like a bullet hell, but it's almost like more casual than that. So yeah, like the first level, and the thing I liked about Vampire Survivors, which I had tried for the first time like this week, the thing I like about Vampire Survivors is it does have progression. It does have like little challenges and things. Like you go around this first map and you kind of have to find and unlock the second map, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's just a lot of like crowd control. I think the general like controls even were just like walking around was like the only control you really had. Although every once in a while, so you defeat enemies and those enemies drop like experience point things and you pick them up, right? And when you level up each time, you're given like a choice between a few different upgrade paths, things to upgrade. So I usually like to pick up like the extend your pickup range, maybe add a different type of weapon, like because some of the weapons is like it's a fireball that automatically shoots towards a nearby enemy, or like a spell book that spins around you, or like lightning that randomly fires across the screen. It's a lot of passive damage, but it's all different types, so it does give you tons of different strategy. Um, so yeah, Vampire Survivors was pretty cool. The game that I've been playing is a smaller team. So that was by Ponkel, and that came out this year, like early this year. Um, and then there was another game dev team, married couple, their game dev studio called Tissue Inu. I discovered their game because it uses the same game engine that I've been working with, Godot, and it came out later this year. It's called Her Name Was Fire, and it doesn't. So while Vampire Survivors has like that GBA Castlevania look to it, Her Name Was Fire has this like vector tarot, like witchy tarot card magic look to it. And the controls are different because it's more of a twin stick shooter. So all the weapons, like you move with the left stick and you point your weapon with the right stick, which I'm a little more used to as someone who played a lot of Binding of Isaac and Nuclear Throne. So I was digging that a little bit, the control a little bit more. And it's very similar. You know, you destroy enemies, you pick up the experience point things, you level up, you're given 3 options. But the options are presented as like tarot cards. And it's really pretty. I think for me, the Her Name Was Fire it's simpler, but it's a lot more chill. And having more control made me feel like I was doing more. But they're both pretty good. So, yeah, that was sort of my first pair of games there that I wanted to sort of dive into more. And I had a lot of fun. I definitely would recommend them, basically depending on whichever theme you like better.
I've never played either of those. I've heard of Vampire Survivors, but I've never really looked that far into it other than, oh, I've heard of that game.
Yeah. I think there's a lot more to it, but it also makes it more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm glad I checked it out, I think I preferred Her Name Was Fire, just because it's a little more like chill vibes, tarot stuff. It's more up my alley. I have too many tarot decks.
I just started, I don't know how to read them or anything. I just started collecting them, so I have a few now too.
Yeah, I just got in the mail. There's one that's like, it's like that holographic paper that you tilt it back and forth. So they're all like GIFs, but in real life. Yeah, it's really, really pretty.
The last one I got was Diablo.
Nice.
And they're huge. They're huge for some reason.
I picked up the Persona. Well, I was gifted for Christmas from my wife the Persona 5 ones, but they were all in French, which was extra cool for me.
That is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I buy Magic cards in French because sometimes they're a little bit cheaper. And I don't generally buy foreign cards because I never commit the rules to memory, but like I know just enough French where like the context schools would be like, all right, this does this. So get that. But yeah, so I played a game called Cat Quest. It came out in 2017 by the Gentle Bros. And it's you're a little cat. You're a little cat trying to find your sister. And it's pretty like the game map isn't that big, but it's like open world, so you can travel from like one side of the map to the other. There's little dungeons. I mean, I think all of the little quests are fetch quests, but they kind of make jokes about it, like, oh god, another fetch quest. So it breaks the fourth wall a couple of times.
Nice. It looked really, really cute from what I saw.
It is very cute, and it was just very chill. And it was one of those too, because when we did this episode, I'm like, I should play games that I started and just abandoned, and that was one of them. Because I started it, I think, at the beginning of this year, and you know, I it was still installed on my Steam Deck, so I sat down in front of my TV and just finished it. Because it's not a particularly long game, and I'm sure there's like achievements I can go back and do, but
Yeah,
like I
and
beat
there's a
the game.
sequel if you're dying for
I
more.
just saw that, yeah. That's also kind of what prompted me to finish this.
Mm,
So yeah.
that's cool as heck.
Um, yeah, it's really cute. Like it's pretty simple, but like
So
it's
it's
kind of satisfying because it's just um like you get quests on quest boards, you kind of go from point A to point B. The only thing I didn't love was the equipment system
so
because you
it looked like it looked like your traditional RPG, maybe turn based, but it's not, right? It's like more of an action adventure, like more direct
yeah,
combat,
it's
not turn based.
yeah, kind of think like more ARPG.
Yeah.
Because like you don't really go into encounters. There's just like monsters on the map.
Ah, gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, the equipment system, I hope they fix that in the sequel, or fixed it in the sequel, because I guess it's already out. Um, because like you would find equipment, but sometimes it would be like really under leveled. And the only way I think the only way is, from what I noticed, is to find like the same item. Like the more you find the same item, it like levels up essentially.
Oh,
And you
okay.
can't get rid of the garbage, kind of because of that, I think. Um, so it's just I don't know. It wasn't the best.
Hmm.
Also, it was just pretty lackluster equipment.
Gotcha. But otherwise, a fun, cute game.
But yeah, it's
Easy,
just a fun, cute game.
chill.
Yeah, easy,
Nice.
chill. Yes.
Nice. So yeah, my next game is Speed Brawl by Double Stallion Games. Came out in 2018. Um, I will say I went back to refresh my memory to play this a lot more. It's definitely a game that is a little bit tough to put down and then pick back up. It is a side-scrolling beat 'em up racing game. It's super steampunky. It's very cool. The characters, start off in a junkyard and make their way up to the tournament on the moon and that sort of thing. They unravel some crazy plot, um, and it's just this crazy cool steampunky game. And I love all the characters are really great, and the cutscenes between races all have voice acting, and it's pretty good. Not full voice acting. It's more of like just a lot of unique like one-liners. Um, but the designs are all awesome. Like the art in the game is fantastic. And so generally what you do is like you have so much time to beat um a challenge, and oftentimes you go through the full race but in like smaller chunks, like 3 different chunks. And the counts down 3, 2, 1, it lets you out of the gate. You race across this map, you end up in a battle, you have to defeat all the enemies as fast as possible, and then you continue on racing forward. And it's interesting because there's such a rhythm, there's such like like the pacing is really great. As long as you remember how to play. I had a little bit of a rough time last night, but I do remember it being way easier, like going from start to finish. Maybe if I play it again, I'll pick it up from the very beginning instead of trying to like use my old save file. Um,
Yeah, I know how that goes.
yeah. Now the game does have couch co-op, and I can totally understand why. So normally, the game works like a tag team fighting game sort of system where you race along, you fight along, and then you can tap a button and switch out for the second character you chose to play as.
Hmm.
And there's only about 6 characters, so it's not like a huge roster to choose from. Some are heavier hitters, some are faster, that sort of thing. But yeah, I guess there's a couch co-op that you can just have 2 people racing along and fighting, which sounds like a great time, honestly. So maybe one day I'll do that. But I
Does sound
really
pretty good.
dug the steampunk art, and that sort of fast-paced brawling.
Yeah, that's interesting. I do like a good brawler.
Yeah, I will say it's not like your sort of classic slow brawlers, like your Ninja Turtles or whatnot, where there's like a little bit of a rectangle you can walk around. It really is completely flat, like side scrolling, which helps because you don't get lost and confused so much. Because it is also like a racing game where you're trying to do everything as fast as you possibly can. Um, you get more of like a platformer, like, bugs in the air. A lot of like mechanoid insects you fight. So yeah,
Nice.
it's cool stuff. I like it.
So so my next game I really tried. I feel I wanted to like it so bad.
Oh
Um
no.
Lord of the Rings Shadow of Mordor. It's an older game, came out in 2014 by Monolith Productions. And I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. And
and
I wanted go ahead,
oh,
sorry.
Shadow of Mordor won like a bunch of awards for its
It
like
it
Nemesis
did.
system.
It's a really cool system, but if you're like me and you die a lot in video games, it's not ideal.
Oh.
Because every time you lose, whatever killed you like moves up and like in toughness to kill again. Um and I'm not sneaky either. Like I have a very hard time in stealth games because I'm just not patient and I don't want to be patient when it comes to that. Like I
Yeah.
had an easier time in the Arkham games because like there was like you didn't necessarily have to be sneaky. But like this game, like you really have to be stealthy or you just get your butt handed to you. Or you can do what I did. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill some orcs and like just dropped into like a bunch of them. There was like a cave or something or like an alcove underneath me where I dropped down and there's just a bunch of them. And just more kept coming because there was commotion and like so there was like three generals on me and like it's just a bunch of ads.
So
It didn't go well.
so what is the general gameplay like? Is it like a Muso, like tons of enemies, or is it like more of a traditional action adventure, or like what is the gameplay? I've
It's kind of in the middle.
Okay.
So you have your like area and I only played it for like a couple hours. Like I didn't really get too far into it.
Yeah, I mean, if
And
you're
I
not
never
having
left
fun.
I got through like the first like two missions, I think. Um so and the missions themselves were fine. It was just the kind of open world exploration I was having trouble with. Um but yeah, so it's like there's enemies that you just come upon and like you can see them, you can distract them. You can shoot them in the head with an arrow, but that ability like you have to recharge. So you can't always rely on it. Um
Hmm.
so yeah, it's like I'm trying to think of what else to compare it to. I mean, it is like Batman Arkham Asylum where you have like enemies that you happen upon.
Oh, okay.
Um but I think the main difference is the like that nemesis system, which it's really cool. Like I can see the appeal. It's just
You're here
not for
promoting all the generals.
yeah, it's just not for me and my brain.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I really like I've heard the story is really good, so I might just watch
Yeah.
like a walkthrough or like a playthrough of it or something because I really really want to like it. But like I get frustrated easily and I'm meh meh eh eh
Fair enough. Fair enough. If you bounce
yeah.
off things, you bounce off things.
Mm-hmm.
I tried really hard. I didn't put it on this list. I tried really hard to play Snakebird, and I got like maybe 10, 12 missions in, like puzzles in, and I was just like, I can't. I'm not having fun. This is not going on this list. Uh,
I
I,
don't
I
want to talk about it.
I tiptoed into that game, not far enough at all. Ren.
Yeah, and I felt that way with Danganronpa. I did really like it. I just didn't play enough of it to put on this list.
Yeah, same.
Um I played like an hour and a half of it, which I only got through like the first I think half of the first chapter. I
Mm.
think. Maybe I'm towards the end of it, I'm not sure. So I didn't add it to this list, but I felt good enough to add this one. One just because one I didn't play that much. I played the last game I'm going to talk about a bunch.
Mm.
Um
Gotcha.
and I mean, I tried to go back to games that I had started and like I had attempted this game before. I think I played it. I didn't when I looked on my own Steam account, it didn't have a date. So I think I played it on my boyfriend's account. Um a few years ago or maybe I got it for console or something and traded it in or something.
Mm.
Um but I know I had attempted it because I remember like the very first like prequel sequence um with like the Gondorian ranger and the wraith person. So like I remembered that part, and that was all I remembered. So I was just trying to go back and play things that I like to give things another chance.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because sometimes a game will hit you different when you play it later on, for sure.
You know, if I haven't liked a game in the first hour, no matter how many times I come back to it, I've just
Bounce.
I've never finished Skyrim for that reason. Like it just doesn't gel with me for some reason.
Hey, that's fair.
Like I want to like it a lot, and it's the same thing with all of the Elder Scrolls games. Like I've probably started Oblivion like 8 times.
Oh my god.
You know, I've probably attempted, and I have played a little bit of Skyrim, um, but like, oh, maybe more than a little bit. But like, I always like lose interest at basically the same point. But it's weird because I can play like I played through Fallout 4, and I think part of New Vegas. I don't think I finished it, but I don't think that's because I wasn't interested. I think I just got distracted. But like I played the crap out of Fallout 4, finished it, and some of the DLC.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I tried to play. There's another game I wanted to put on this list that I picked up pretty recently. It's called Lunistis, and it's a lot like Frogun in that it's like this N64 era throwback, like low poly, low texture, like 3D platformer thing, and it's so up my alley, and it just didn't grip me, and I think I don't know what it is. And I think similar thing with maybe like Banjo-Kazooie. Maybe I just need a little bit of story, like not a lot, but these are games that just like don't really have much story outside of an opening cutscene.
Yeah.
And maybe I just need a little bit more. I'm not sure. I didn't expect to like I just didn't care. I was like, this is neat. I like the design a lot. And I want to support indies, but they have my money already, and I'm not having that fun, so I'm just gonna stop. I felt bad, but yeah, no, I get that feeling. Well, you know what? When we can have some good vibes here, because my next game, I had no idea it was gonna hit me so hard. It's What the Golf. So, What the Golf by Triband Studios came out in 2020. It's freaking hilarious. It is basically, what if every single game was golf? And my gosh, I have to say one of the best things about What the Golf is that there is in the like so when you open up the home screen, there's like the campaign, and then there's like a quick play. And I wanted to show my wife because I was like, I'm having a lot of fun with this. This is really funny. And I wanted to show her, so I was going to go over to Quick Play. And under Quick Play, there's an option that says, like, show your friends, or, like, share this with a friend. And it's just, like, a sampler of all the different levels, so they don't have to go through a full campaign to get all the different types of basically jokes, which was awesome. So she got this wonderful sampler, had a blast, and then gave it back to me in, like, 15 minutes, and I was like, this is perfect. More games need to do this. Every game needs to do this.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome.
Holy crap. But yeah, you start out this campaign, and it's like, all right, this is a golf game. You see the hole, you see your ball, you hold the A button, and you move the analog stick in the direction you want it to go, and like the amount you want to go, right? So golf mechanics. Not every golf game is like that, but you know, it's a lot of golf games. Sometimes they'll have like the power like back and forth.
Yeah, I'm an expert at polar golfer.
Nice. So, golf mechanic, right? So you putt it, you hole in one, hilarious. Or it's okay. You know, it's fun, it's cute. The second level, you go to do this, and when you let go of the button and you putt the ball, the whole golfer goes. You're putting the golfer across the course now. And then like the next one, it's like you get 30 balls and you have to putt them all at once or something, or like you're putting the racket. Like the game has like the game likes to go back to the joke of having you launch the ball. It's like you launch the guy itself, or you know, you launch 100 of whatever it is, and then all of a sudden I go through this one area in the menu. So the menu's this nice vector, like almost Flash game, but sort of you putt around to this menu and you go to the different holes, and then they take you into, you know, most of them are, you know, pretty 3D. Some of the golfing scenarios are 2D. Um, but I went to this little area of the map, and it turned me into a companion cube. And I'm like, what? And all of all of the levels in that were Portal, like 2D Portal. Like I was playing Portal with golf mechanics.
Nice.
And then I
Oh
went to this
God.
other area, and all of a sudden I was playing Super Hot with golf mechanics, where the world only moves when you putt. And at the end of every level, it goes Super Putt. And then I was playing
God.
Super Meat Boy, with golf mechanics again. I mean, and it goes
That's
on and on.
hilarious.
They riff on so many games. There was one of the more interesting ones was it was a first person golf. So like you are the ball and you're just putting yourself along. I don't know. It's really, really clever. There's a section that's Super Meat Boy, basically. Like, it's not all riffing on other games, but it does feature them prominently, and it's really fun. And they managed to do just this amazing job at just what if every game was golf? Every video game was golf. It's really, really, really funny. The jokes are great. Like the puns at the end when you complete the map, like at the end of every map there's another like saying, and it's almost always a pun. It's super funny. And I just found out that they have a new VR game out this year called What the Bat, which is, you're in VR. What if every game is baseball? Like, okay, I'm in. I'm gonna have to pick that up at some point for the quest here. So yeah, What the Golf, I cannot recommend enough.
That's hilarious.
It is so fun. It is so funny. And yeah, the fact that you can be like, hey, you should try this out, and then you hand them over the show your friend mode. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Man, you've played way cooler games than me so far.
Well, I will say, yeah, okay. I'll take that. I'll take that.
I mean, I also have my regular like shooter rotation too. So everything I play outside of that, like I have to fit that into my gaming schedule.
You're a busy woman.
I am. I've also been continuing to play Cozy Grove. Love it.
Nice.
It's adorable. Yeah, no, that's been a lot of. I mean, you only play. It's like kind of like a phone game because you only play it for like an hour or so a day. But yeah, that's been a lot of fun too.
Nice.
But the next game, this is one of the only games I played during when I was sick. I played Spiritfarer by Thunder Lotus Games, came out in 2020, and I played Cozy Grove.
Nice.
I pretty much beat Spiritfarer. I started feeling better, and then it wasn't quite done. But like I played it through. Like that game is amazing. So
I've been really curious about it because it recently
really
showed up
good.
on the PlayStation Plus,
Yeah,
super extra whatever tier.
So yeah, basically you are like the game starts. You show up on this like little island in the afterlife, and you become the Spiritfarer. So you're helping, spirits find their way to the afterlife, and basically what that entails is, they are with I don't want to spoil too much.
Sure, but it's the classic like Greek mythology Sharon thing of like
Yeah,
ferrying the souls across
Mhm.
the river Styx.
Exactly, yeah. Sharon is the person that you're relieving duty for.
Gotcha.
But you have all of these spirits on your boat, which you upgrade. You cook food for them, so you try to find their favorite foods and their least favorite foods.
And it's not just like a simple boat, like it's a whole like boathouse thing, right?
Yeah, it's huge, and you get I think the hardest part sometimes, especially with my absolute like lack of spatial awareness, was setting things up in a way that made sense. Because there's also like mini games that you get to do on the boat. It's generally catching things or chasing after things. And depending on how your boat is organized, it's easier than others.
Gotcha.
Like some are easier than others.
Yeah, I love the characters. I love that character's design. They're like, is it like a star hat or something?
Yeah, it's like a star hat. Yeah, I love it. I love the character design. The little cat. She's got a cat.
Oh, That's so cute.
It's so cute. Yeah, it's very cute. I think there might be couch co-op because I think that
Oh,
that's why there's two of them.
okay. If there's couch co-op, that changes the game. Like that
I'm
changes
pretty
things. I might
I'm
put
pretty
that to the.
sure.
Okay, I might put. I'll check that out, and if that's the case, I might put that to the top of my list of things to play.
I'm pretty sure because I think I remember like going into the game and like single player or co-op or something. I was very sick when I played it. So I just kind of breezed through some of that stuff. Um but yeah, so I mean, and it's definitely, I thought about putting it up for cozy games for a future episode, and is like fun and cute as it is, it's all also like emotionally devastating because I mean, obviously you're ferrying souls to the afterlife, but there's a twist at the end that I'm unfortunately very good at guessing the plot of things. So, like
Hmm.
even with me guessing and being correct about like what was happening, like it's still kind of an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. By the way, I just double checked. You're right. The main
I thought so.
player one plays Stella, and the player two will play.
Kitty.
Is that Daffodil?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's adorable.
You can also change the color of, like, you can unlock different like color
Oh,
combination for
different.
outfits for both Stella and Daffodil.
That's super cute.
So I had like a pastel purple cat.
Oh. Cool, cool. So it's a lot of it's like a house management type thing.
Yeah, but you get to go to like different islands and destinations and like collect different materials to like upgrade and do things.
Oh, okay, cool.
Part of each character's story quest is like you upgrade their like you build their house and you upgrade where they live.
Mm,
And then after you've like, done whatever their like little character mission is, you bring them to the um you bring them to the door to have them move on.
gotcha.
Yep.
Nice.
So it's really fun. Like it's like, and you can grow some of your own materials too on the boat. Like you can grow like plants and food. There's like an orchard you can unlock, like a smelter, so and a bunch of other stuff. So there was a lot to do. Um
Hmm.
and even though most of the characters are really great, there's a few that I just thought were obnoxious.
Yep.
Um
Well,
but
you're
most of them are, but
ferrying
they all,
all types,
yeah, but they all have a story.
right?
And they're all connected to the main character in some way.
Oh,
Some
that's
are more
cool.
obvious than others.
That's cool.
Hmm.
Nice.
But yeah, don't play it if you've recently lost somebody, or death will throw
Right.
you into an existential crisis because
Right.
that is not the game for you.
It is definitely a game that is dealing with death. I mean,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and like
So,
I have a pretty, I guess, I don't know if it's unique, just a pretty like pragmatic look
hmm.
when it comes to death and dying. Um so it didn't really affect me too bad,
But you could seriously see, honestly
but
imagine.
I could
Yeah.
see how if somebody was I could see how the plot twist could come out of nowhere for somebody and just smack them in the face
Right.
with it, and it, like, even harder if they've lost somebody close recently.
That's fair.
um so yeah, just it's really good. I 100% recommend it, but proceed with caution. I think to beat it, it was like, I want to say like 65 hours to from start to finish, so it's not a particularly long game either.
Hmm. Okay.
Maybe like closer to 70. I don't remember exactly how many hours.
Hmm. Cool. Well, my next game, Sports Friends, is by Copenhagen dev. I think it's pronounced Die Gut Fabrik. It came out in 2014, originally for the PlayStation, and it's a collection of multiplayer only games. It's like
So you
a
have to play with other people.
yeah,
Ew.
like it's a bunch of indie games, but they are all multiplayer. Most of them are two player. Some of them are four player. Um, so it's famous because the sort of the most interesting game in the collection is called Johann Sebastian Joust,
Oh
and
God.
you can play. I think most versions you can play 4 player. On the PlayStation 3, you can play 7 players, and each player gets a PlayStation Move controller. So it's the big black wand with the glowing orb on top, and every player has to sort of keep their move controller somewhat steady and not rock it too much. And so some music will play, and by default, it's going to be a bunch of Johann Sebastian Bach, right?
Makes sense. Checks
And
out.
but you can put your, I mean, on it was that era of PS3 where you could put music on your system. So like, I had my own playlist of songs that I would throw into it, and it would just play from your playlist on your hard drive.
Nice.
And but as the music goes, the tempo will speed up or slow down, and sort of so if you rock the controller too much, it'll start to vibrate to warn you, and then if you go too far, the controller will turn from whatever your player color is to red, to be like, you're
This
out.
sounds like a fun game where you can sabotage your friends.
Yes, that's exactly it. Generally what you're doing is you're kind of moving in slow motion, and then maybe you're like trying to shove your friends over. I played this many times over the years, especially back in my last apartment. I had sort of a gaming basement, like with a big projector, and there's this big open space so you could play this in. But I could imagine like taking this outside to a parking lot with a TV or something, because you really only need the TV for the music. Like there's a nice little animation playing, but you really only need to hear the music to know what the tempo is, to know how fast you're able to go. So when the tempo is going really quickly, you can move much faster before the controller starts freaking out and being like, hey, slow down. But yeah, you're generally moving around, going fast, slow, and trying to like shove your friends, like tip them over to shake them, like grab their shoulder and shake them or something. It's hilarious. And yeah,
I
the
feel
fact,
like this is a game that like former marching band people
yes,
would like have a distinct advantage over.
very much, absolutely. I can absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I had a blast every time I played it. It was really really funny. Um, You can play it on the PlayStation 4 5 because you can connect the PlayStation Move controllers to it. Although I think the Bluetooth support on those systems limits it to like maybe 4 devices. Same. There is a Steam version of the collection, and if you are on Mac or Linux, then Johann Sebastian Joust works fine, and you can play like 4, maybe even 7 players, depending. Kind of your mileage may vary, how many controllers your Bluetooth and your computer can connect to.
Oh, I
Um,
was about to ask how does that work with the motion sensor, but that makes sense.
Yep. So you're just connecting PlayStation Move controllers to your computers like Bluetooth, because they're just Bluetooth controllers. I will say, Johann
But
Sebastian
the key
Joust.
is you have to have the move controllers.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean I had a bunch of them because I had all the Time Crisis and stuff on the PlayStation Move, and then those were the same controllers they used for the PlayStation VR. So I have them for that too. Um, and it'd be worth setting up. I will say the developers gave up on Windows. They like the Bluetooth stack on Windows is absolute garbage. We give up. So you cannot play this game on Windows. You have to play it on your Steam Deck or a Linux computer or a Mac if you're going to play the Steam version. They just gave up trying to get Windows to play nice with Bluetooth with those controllers, which is it's kind of funny. Um, the other bunch of games are really really fun. There's this cool like pole vaulting thing where you're trying to pole vault and like kick a ball across a string into the other goal. There's some sort of like Smash Brothers with a ball sort of game. There's a bunch of fun little games in there. There are 2 hidden games that you have to punch in a code on the main menu to get to. Um, One of them is just some sort of like weird like 70s looking like kind of wrestling game where basically you're trying to hit jump at the first time, like jump at the right time to knock your opponent over. It's fun. But the other one's way better. If you type in the Konami code, you unlock Pong, but like left stick is up and down like traditional Pong, but the right stick you can rotate your Pong paddle. So you can like put spin on the ball and
Nice.
like smack it around, and like the Pong paddles are all like wibbly and wibbly wobbly. It's really funny. But yeah, so Sports Friends is a really cool collection of multiplayer games. Yeah, generally 2 player, but there's some 4 players in there for sure. And yeah, JS Joust is so funny. So definitely like, yeah, if you have it on the PlayStation or if you have like a Steam Deck or a MacBook or something, like yeah, JS Joust is awesome. But yeah, with the quirk of you have to have a bunch of move controllers around.
Yeah.
But it's one of the few video games that like you don't really look at the screen at all. You're like listening to the audio and you're looking at the controllers that everyone has to see if theirs is like flashing and vibrating. Like, oh, they're almost out. Um, it's neat that you're looking at your other players in the real world.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool indie experimental stuff. So I really dig it. It's been a while since I've thought about it, but my gosh, it's cool.
Yeah, that sounds hilarious.
So I know the next game here from you is the one you've spent probably the most time lately
Oh,
on.
for sure. It's also the one that's probably going to have the most like emotional reaction right now. It's like a hot topic.
It is. It is. I just saw people on Twitter saying that it works significantly better if you don't have it on an SD card. That people's have had their bugs go away when they moved it to the on-system storage.
I don't know. I'll have to see where mine so we're talking about Pokemon Scarlet. Just came out last week from Nintendo. And well, Scarlet and Violet. I got Scarlet. Because I wanted Violet, but I like having the physical copies of the Pokemon games because I have them pretty much since X and Y physical. And so I originally wasn't going to buy it. Not even because of the issues it was having, just because I was trying to be a financially responsible adult.
You can't do that.
So I can't. I mean, I only bought one. Originally, I had the double pack pre-ordered, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to buy both of them right now. I'll get them after Christmas. And then, like, one of my friends is like, hey, did you get it? I'm like, nope, decided not to. And I'm like, how do you like it? And they're like, well, hop in Discord and I'll tell you. And then he and my other friend were playing it, and like I listened to them play it for like maybe an hour and a half, and I'm like, fine, I'm gonna go buy it. So like I literally went out to Target the Saturday before Thanksgiving, which was a mistake. I didn't think about that until I got to the front. Well, so I paid for the game, and that was fine because I paid for that in the electronics department.
Right.
But I had to get some Thanksgiving stuff for my grandmother. And I didn't grab a cart, so I'm just like walking through the store carrying a bunch of stuff, waiting in this big line. So, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But I guess Violet was like the more popular, which I get because I like the tech. Like I think that the tech stuff just looks better because like the Scarlet is the red one is kind of more like primal, and then like the Violet one is just more techy.
Are you talking about the motorcycle thing that you ride?
Yeah, like but the professors too. So the professor in Violet is wearing like a Tron suit with a like a lab coat over it, which looks infinitely better than Scarlet's, where the professor she's wearing a like cave woman outfit.
Oh, okay.
With like the lab coat over it. It just looks stupid.
They're really trying to go for this duality thing. Because this feels like it's way more differentiated than like past games. It was like, what's the color of the cartridge? Not like much would change in between otherwise.
Yeah, like all the Titan Pokemon are different. Your like Pokemon motorcycle. Well, actually, the one in Primal isn't even a motorcycle. It has like wheels on its chest, but it runs on 4 legs.
Yeah, I saw that, and that I was like, why is it running if it has wheels?
It's so uncomfortable. And then the Tron one actually is a motorcycle.
Right.
And Violet. But I mean, I haven't had any of the issues so I have. Like there's some frame rate issues. There are like animation issues. Like it does look kind of empty. You can't go into any of the houses or like businesses like how you've been able to, like you can't rifle through people's trash for Pokeballs.
Oh, what? But I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff to make up for it.
Yeah,
right?
there is.
Yeah, I mean, I saw one video that was like showing off like it's got some pretty strong pop in.
It
But
does.
on the
Yeah,
other hand,
absolutely.
I'm playing Sonic Frontiers, which has like probably the worst pop in that franchise has ever had, and like you hardly notice through all the fun you're having. Like it just
Yeah.
these sorts of bugs go away if the game is fun enough.
Well, and they're not game breaking either,
Right.
it's not like think even just for like Cyberpunk, like that game was unplayable.
At
Um
launch for sure. Yeah, they
yeah,
didn't fix it until the anime came out, basically.
Borderlands 3 had issues.
Hmm.
Basically every Assassin's Creed game.
I mean, The Witcher famously had tons of issues, and
Yeah.
they're just about ready to release their like 500th, extra content patch for the like
Yeah.
PS5 stuff, and it's great now. So these games can evolve.
Yeah, I mean, at least I haven't had it. Like my game hasn't crashed at all. Like other, like I can deal with some frame rate issues. It's fine. And it's just it is a lot of fun. Like I love the open world. My only real complaint about the game is so you have three different sets of quests that you do. You have like the normal gym badges, the bases for like the team, it's Team Star.
Hmm.
Like you have to go around and defeat all of the like generals essentially for the teams, that
Yeah.
team, and then you go fight Titan Pokemon, which are just like larger versions of like normal Pokemon.
It seems
Um,
like it's doing the same things the games have always done, but sort of
it
more
is,
formalizing them as separate quests you can tackle in different at different times on your own
but they don't
choice.
tell you what level things are. And
Oh,
like you can go to the Poke Center and they'll tell you where to go, but I think it's based on level because I think I just leveled up a little too quickly. So I totally missed a bunch of stuff. Like my Pokemon are level like 40 something right now, like high 30s, early 40s. And I just went back and did like a Titan and a Starbase that were like level 20, what one was 20, one was 30. Um because I it didn't tell me to go there.
oh,
So
so they
I
could have done that better. They could have done that
yeah,
more formally.
I think all they would had to do is put like a suggested level requirement.
Yeah, a little bit
So you
more
can
UI
see.
work.
Yeah, but I don't even that's not even I guess it's UI work, but like you would just like be able to see what the
Right,
like the
right. Just adding
suggested
it to the
level is.
UI as
Like
it.
it's
Yeah,
I feel like it would be so small and easy and such. Just like that's the only thing. Like cuz I don't mind not knowing where to go, but
yeah.
like I'm skipping over stuff that would be helpful for because every time you defeat a Titan Pokemon, your like Pokemon bike gets like another ability.
Hmm.
So those would be like good to know what the suggested level is.
Right, because
Um
that could gate you from doing certain things. I'm assuming.
yeah, and I mean you can kind of gauge it by like the level of the Pokemon like in the area,
Yeah.
but at the same time like then you have to go there and if it's
Does
not where you need it to be, then you have to go somewhere else.
I'm curious? Does the game use your bike instead of the traditional like HM system? Like,
Yes.
okay,
Well, it sort of removed those things. Like, so you don't have to cut anything. But they've sort of removed those anyway because in some of the previous games, like you just had a Pokemon. Like there was like a service that would do that for you,
okay, yeah,
which was really cool because that means you didn't have to always have like the Pokemon with the TM to do that specific thing with you.
yeah.
And it didn't take up space in your team. The other thing I really like, and I think they started this with Sword and Shield, was you can always access your boxes with your
Oh,
Pokemon in them, so that's super helpful.
nice. Well, that makes sense. You used to access it via the PC, and now everyone has smartphones, so it's
Yeah.
on the go.
Mhm. And the multiplayer is fantastic. It's really good. So you can join a party with your friends. I don't know what the max party number is because it's just me and two other friends that have been partying up.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
something like four. It's like a small-ish.
yeah, that sounds about right. But like you each like you so you're in a quote unquote party, but you each still have like your individual like things you can do on your own. Um which and it's
Yeah,
beneficial because you can spread out to like different parts of the map and if somebody finds like a raid battle to do the terror raids, like you can all do it together
in a
and
funny
it'll
way, it kind of
fill
feels.
it
It
too.
kind of sounds like the multiplayer in Stardew Valley, where you have your
I've never done the Stardew Valley multiplayer.
from what I've heard, you just have your own farms, and it's just like the map is just a little bit bigger to accommodate that, and you
Yeah.
still do your own thing, but then you have shared stuff in the middle of the town.
Yeah, it's like an MMO. Like
Yeah,
you all have access to the same things, but
like
you obviously have. But like not every game does that.
a massive, like a micro multiplayer game.
Yeah. Sometimes like for especially older games that had multiplayer, whoever is the party leader, like those are the quests you can see.
Mm, neat. It looks
Yeah.
like
So
they're doing crazy new things, and there's some growing pains, but otherwise you like the direction they're sort of going in,
but
or
like who plays I mean they could I mean I will say the graphics aren't great.
yeah.
Um it does feel a little bit empty at certain points, just like
Okay,
I don't know.
how about
It
this?
does, but I'm still having fun. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
still awesome.
Do you think that this is the next step after Arceus, or do you think that Arceus is like a different enough step that you would prefer them to go in, or like how does it
They're
compare?
similar enough. They're
Oh,
similar enough. I would say Arceus was the test to see if they would people would actually buy it. To be honest, that what
okay.
something aside from the main franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Arceus was a little bit more linear, where like it did tell you level requirements. I think if I remember correctly. Um, or if it didn't, it was like more immediately obvious, and it like all of the areas were sort of like you had to do certain things to get to the next highest area. So even though like all of that was open world, um like there was still like you still had to meet certain milestones before getting to the harder areas,
Mm.
versus Scarlet and Violet where you have like access to the whole most of the with minus like a couple things where you need like a
An ability, yeah. Upgrade to your
yeah.
bike.
Yep. I think there's might only be one area with that you need to swim for. Um but like you can go anywhere like right away pretty much.
Mm.
Oh, the other thing that that not a huge fan of, the outfits. And like so I X and Y were my favorite Pokemon games, I think because of like the outfit
Yeah,
diversity.
wasn't it
Like
also like was that the one where it was like French and it was all about
it is.
fashion? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I get why they didn't do it with this one because everyone's supposed to be like in a school. Like you're going to a Pokemon training school. Um but they could have gone, I think Violet looks better because it's like a darker concept.
Yeah.
But the Scarlet like uniform is so ugly. Like I feel like a candy striper.
Oh gosh. Yeah, and I did hear that they removed the gendering of clothes, but they did it by making all the clothes masculine
Gender
friendly. So
yeah.
like there was no skirts, and it's like, well, just
No.
like if you're
Like just
gonna, yeah,
give us all the options and just let anybody wear them.
let anybody wear everything. Like it's not that it's harder to limit it. It's harder to put limits on it.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
mean, there's only 4 uniform options.
mm.
There's like a summer, winter, fall, spring.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, most JRPGs, I'm not expecting them to have the level of customization that like a traditional Western RPG would have, where you can pick your class, race, 1,000 outfits sort of thing. So I don't know. It feels like they're dipping their toes into the water into something that's been far more traditionally Western RPG, and I don't know.
Yeah, I guess a lot of the like Western RPGs they've had like pretty robust character customization for a while. So I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know, but all I know is I don't want to look like Candy Striper. The red is ugly,
yeah.
and I want to wear a damn skirt.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But no, I recommend it. Like it's been fun. I've been having fun with my friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a Pokemon game, and it's new, doing new
I
things.
also the new Pokemon are so freaking cute.
Are they? Okay, I haven't
They're
actually
so cute.
seen anyone talking about the new designs at all.
They're
Uh,
so cute.
okay,
The names are kind of lazy, I guess maybe, but I still love them. And yeah,
that's fine. Cool. Cool.
what's your final game?
All right, so this is another open worldy type game. Um, This game almost made it on the list of favorite games, but I had played it maybe 2 or 3 weeks before we made that episode, so I
Hmm.
made the hard call to like not put it on the favorite games list quite yet. But it's been some time and it's super held up, and I'm very excited. So I just noticed because I checked it and I checked because I was playing it on Steam, and I saw that my 100% achievements was destroyed because they added 3 new ones,
Haha.
but they haven't added the content where you can unlock those new achievements. It comes out in like a couple days. By the time this episode's out, it'll be out. So I'm like, oh no, I know I gotta jump in and get my 100% back. Um, so they're about to drop the PS5 version because it was an Xbox and PC exclusive for about a year. Um, so I might also pick this up on the PS5 at some point. Um, it's Sable. So Sable's by Shedworks.
I'm
It
glad
came.
you hadn't gotten the name yet.
I know. I've just been so excited. I just didn't even get to the name.
Sorry, say it again for the viewers.
Sable. So it came out in 2021 last year, by developer Shedworks, and it is one of the coolest games I've ever played. So I was originally interested in, again, another like dev hobbyist decision of, oh, this is a game that uses Ink, which is a cool like narrative middleware thing. You write stories and it helps you write like choose your own style story stuff. Cool stuff. But that's one of the technologies they use around in the background for their storytelling. Um, what most people are going to notice, the first thing right off the bat when they look at Sable, though, is not the tech under the hood. It's going to be the art style. This game looks like a Mobius comic. It has got this gorgeous, like, flat, almost like it's this like flat color, thin, lined cell shading going on. It looks freaking beautiful. It looks like French comic artist Mobius. Um, it looks like his designs. It is so pretty. Um, I'm like, they just came out with an art book, and I'm like, oh dang, I might want to get the deluxe version of that or something. It's really gorgeous. How would I pitch what the game plays like? Imagine like Breath of the Wild, but without any combat. It is this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it is this beautiful story-driven game where it takes place in a desert, and you are going off into the world for the first time, sort of coming of age. It's your sort of puberty time to pick what your career is going to be for the rest of your life. So everyone in this community of people who live in this desert planet, um, they spend like a year, maybe a little bit longer, like maybe a year or two, and they go out into the world and they do a ton of odd jobs, and they come back at the end having done a bunch of odd jobs. And each time they do an odd job for someone, like, so there's cartographers that you'll find by climbing giant mountains. So much of this game is driving along in your hover motorcycle thing and stopping and going, I could climb that. I wonder if there's something cool up there. And like, roll the dice 50-50. There's something cool up there, or like you just feel accomplished because that was really cool to figure out how to climb up there. You've got like your stamina meter, which you can sort of level up and increase by finding these like cool worm things that are found scattered through the entire world. There's like 200 little worm floaty dudes, and
Nice.
you bring them back to like this gigantic like mother worm who telepathically thanks you for bringing her babies back by and giving you more stamina on your stamina meter.
Oh,
Um,
that's adorable.
yeah, so sometimes you find these cool cartographer dudes who have these awesome like hot air balloon airship things, and they're like, "Hey, how'd you get over here? Wow, you must have climbed a lot. Here, have a badge." Or you can collect scrap for the scrappers from old like derelict ruins. Like there's a whole bunch of like downed ancient spaceships that you can just go and do a bunch of like sort of like temple puzzle things. They're like temple
Mhm.
puzzle rooms. Um, like it's not a huge spoiler. Like generally the like this world is post-apocalyptic. Like something happened, some terraforming process went wrong, so everyone in the world is wearing masks. And the masks are based on what their job is, just out of a cultural thing now. But you do find a whole bunch of downed spaceships. Like it's not, it's super obvious from the get go. Okay, this is probably what's gonna happen, and then you find out the details as you go on, doing these like cool spaceship temple puzzle areas. Um, but like you're not solving like the problem with the terraformers or anything. Like you're not gonna change the way the world is, like right the wrongs or escape to space. Like no, this is how life is, and you are learning about everybody's lives, everyone's little strifes. You solve problems for the people who live in these really cool, pretty cities. There's traders. You can trade for like, you can get bike parts and like change how your cool bike looks. Like, oh my god, getting all the parts for like each set of bike it was super fun. There's a lot of really cool bike parts, and some of it changes like the speed and this and that. And you can get like dyes to recolor them, so you can have like cool ancient Tron thing, and then you can paint it all
Nice.
pink, or you can get this really cool like, I don't know, like Batmobile looking thing and paint it all dark. It's really really cool. So I guess the other thing you get for your sort of exploration abilities is right from the get go you get this really cool like hover orb. It looks like a shield that's going around you, but basically you jump and then you hit jump again, and a bubble forms around you, and you can slowly glide forward. So it does help because you end up having to like glide from climbing spot to climbing spot, and hoping your stamina doesn't run out before you get a nice safe place to stand and like recover your stamina meter. It's really engaging. It's definitely a game you want to play when you have like time for it to be like the thing you're just doing for like the next 100 hours. Like I'm sure, so you can stop the game basically as soon as you get 3 badges of any kind. You can trade in those badges for that job's mask, and you can unlock one mask and go straight to the end and go like, this is my job now forever, and end the game. You can get the credits like right away, like 20 hours tops. Boom, you put a mask on, you're done. Or you can go for like as many achievements as I'm really glad I got a bunch of things, and then I was like, okay, I've gotten far, but I'm enjoying the heck out of this. Let me go grab an achievement guide. Let me go see how to unlock more stuff. And I had even more of a blast. I'm very glad I went and just got an achievement guide up. There's a really nice one on Steam. And it just like, hey, you've missed all these things. Go over there. Go do this thing. And like, it's just really rewarding exploring everything and trying to like squeeze every bit of juice out of this really cool, fruit that is this game. There's just really, really neat stuff. It's super pretty. It's got this great day-night cycle that's really nice. It kind of changes obviously at night everything's super desaturated and it's all just lines, and it feels kind of eerie. And then the daylight comes back and you've got this beautiful pinks washing over everything, because everything kind of has this like continuous color going on. Like obviously some objects have their own color, but the lighting really does shine and wash over everything with sort of like a common brush, which is really nice. And then obviously by the time it's regular daylight, everything kind of pops. And honestly, waiting for the sun to go up and down is actually part of one of the first puzzles I ever did in the game. And I was so hooked because like this cool like crazy door thing like unlocks at a very specific time of day, and I got a chest which gave me some clothing outfits. Oh yeah, you can unlock like pant helmet and shirt things. So you can customize your character's look and their bike's look like a ton. So I dug that, but I don't know. I loved all the writing. Especially in the city. There's this one really fun mission where this old dude who basically used to be Batman is like, dude, I need you to put on the suit and like do one more job for me. And so you like put on his old like Batman suit and like do one more vigilante task for this old guy. It's really funny.
I like that.
Sable is so good. I cannot recommend it enough. I'm so glad it's coming out for the PS5 so that more people will get to play it. I think Steam was the most accessible place, because it was exclusive for a year for Xbox and Steam.
It's also on sale. on Steam right now.
Yeah, it's on like
Most of the
half
games
off.
we've talked about today are probably on
Oh
sale.
yeah, I mean yeah, the sale going on right now is the autumn sale, so it's like crazy.
It is Black Friday today as we are recording this.
Yeah,
because it is definitely not going to be Black Friday when this is posted.
No, yeah, I don't know. I would super highly recommend. If you're looking at Sable right now, like get it. It's so good. You might get lost though. You will probably get lost.
Me, never.
It's got a good map, I will say, and it does have a nice little system for you. You can like mark things on the map, but it is a huge map. I don't know. It's really good. I had a blast.
My family was just talking about my piss poor sense of direction during Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Came up in conversation.
Oh goodness.
Boyfriend's like, have you ever played a video game with her without a map? Ooh.
That's funny.
Yep.
But yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't recommend Sable enough. It's stellar writing. It's really great characters. It's so atmospheric. It's freaking gorgeous. And I don't know. I just dig it. And I think I'm excited for the PS5 version to see what they do with all the DualSense stuff. If they do like fancy rumbles or not. So yeah. Sable. I don't know. Sable just got me, and it's probably one of my favorite games ever now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let us know how you guys liked this format, because I think it's a good way for us to go back and either delve into things that maybe don't fit into like a specific episode, or just a good way to clear out our backlog.
Yeah, absolutely was a good way.
That is the point of this podcast.
Honestly, even some of the games that I didn't gel with that we talked about sort of in the middle there, that sort of quote unquote didn't make our lists, but we still mention. It was worth playing it just to know, just to get through the backlog of like, okay, I can remove this from the 2-play collection.
Yeah.
And some of it surprised the heck
The abandoned forever pile.
Right. Like I have no idea where I would fit Sports Friends into an episode, but I super wanted to talk about it. What the golf, I'm not sure I would have classified it correctly before playing it. Like, oh, it's a sports game. No, it's a hilarious, goofy, physics puzzle. Like, I don't know where I put that, right? It's a comedy game is what it is. It's a comedy game. So it's nice to have a wild card.
Yeah. I had planned to delve into some other stuff, but then Pokemon, and I'm pretty happy with that decision. So I was playing Pokemon before we recorded this, and once we are done, I'm going to go back to playing it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm like just right at the end of Sonic Frontiers. I'm about to hit the final boss soon, which has been exciting as heck. So that's probably, well, depends. I might have lost the television, so I might be going back to Final Fantasy VII on my Steam Deck. So we'll see. I think, continuing to play what we played before is the plan for both of us, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Nice. All right, listeners. Well, I hope you guys have a cool miscellaneous day. I hope you enjoyed the heck out of the games we went over and found something that might interest you.
Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, catch you later.
Bye.